Podcasting. Anyone ever thought about having a podcast? Where do I start? Where do I begin? Here's a tip for you, something that I use, Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It is absolutely free, and they provide all the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer, phone, tablet, whatever device you have. It is super convenient, and Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you. Your podcast can be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Grow your listeners and get as many people as possible to listen to your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Let's do it.
Shows are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Welcome to the Edventures in Tech podcast. Talking the latest tips and trends in educational technology to innovate and engage your students. Here are your hosts, Andrew and Dan.
Back at it again. Welcome to episode 36 of the Adventures in Tech podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Andrew, if you don't know that by now.
And my name is Dan.
And you should know that as well. So we're excited you are on this venture with us. We have a great interview coming up today. We'll little tease it. Little Mote, CEO of Mote.com. Will Jackson, love it. He's across the pond, so we had to make sure we got on his time schedule, and it wasn't tea time or anything like that. But we are looking forward to our interview with Will Jackson. So that being said, please make sure you leave feedback and the rating on wherever you are getting the Adventures in Tech podcast from. Greatly appreciate that support. Dan, we're going to skip right through classroom updates. We'll hit more of that and ISTE on the next episode. But let's go right to the weekly windup.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about was Google launching Celebrate Black History Month with Applied Digital Skills. So we'll put the link in the show notes, but they gave a great link into different activities and explorations, things for creating community mind maps, doing some virtual building of things, building logos. So there's some nice resources there to really reflect and teach during Black History Month. Another thing put out by Google Arts and Culture is celebrating the Lunar New Year.
Yay,
so
Google Arts and Culture.
I'm loving what's happening with Google Arts and Culture. So if you want to go and explore the arts of the Lunar New Year, they have some great resources there that we'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, it's the Year of the Rabbit puzzle party. I love it.
It's good, right?
I do like it.
And then also we've talked about some new features in Canva, their Magic Write, and a lot of new things coming up. There is a free webinar that will be launching on January 23rd. Thanks, Casey Bell, for sharing that. It is live through YouTube, so I put the link there that will be in the show notes. So if you want to check out that webinar, you can click on the link there.
Yeah, Canva. I mean, what a robust tool, and how they are evolving with what's come out with AI and everything like that. It's going to be very interesting on how all these educational tech companies really move forward into 2023 and beyond. So very excited about that. All right, so without further ado, here will be our interview with the CEO of Mote, Will Jackson. All right, so we are very fortunate today with our guest. We have Will Jackson, who is the co-founder and CEO of Mote. Now, if you remember, Dan, last year we were able to talk to the VP of Education, John Neal.
Yes.
We've had multiple opportunities to meet John at different conferences and discuss just, joining the Mote boat, as we say, right?
I think everyone knows that we are all on board of the Mote boat.
I love the Mote boat, and we keep, pushing forward with the Mote boat. But now we've even, we've reached a pinnacle, I guess you could say. We now have Will Jackson with us. Will, welcome to the podcast for Adventures in Tech. So grateful to have you here.
Andrew, it's a real pleasure. It's great to meet you and great to be on the podcast.
Thank you. So, Will, big thing we want to say, just tell our listeners a little bit about your background, with where you came up with the idea of Mote, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my background, I've worked at several tech companies through my career. I was working with Intel and then Pandora, the music company. And then after that, I met my co-founder, Alex, while we were both working in music at a company called Vivo. And we wanted to set up our own business together, and were looking at different ways to apply voice technology. Has really caught our attention. And we built Mote as a way of enabling people to use voice instead of text communication to communicate. We thought it was faster, more effective, and really conveyed that human connection. When we launched the product in March of 2020, it was teachers who rushed to engage with and embrace Mote because they found it so powerful for connecting with students. And so we loved that. We've really leaned into that and worked with our educator community for the past 3 years to ensure that Mote solves their problems as much as possible. So integrating Mote into the apps that are being used, solving the problems that they have, whether that be for accessibility, whether that be for feedback, or just creative applications of audio in the classroom.
That's great. Thank you so much for that, Will. So something you mentioned that just resonated with me was how you talked about the integration component. We know that a lot of these school districts across the world are Google Workspace or Microsoft Teams and so forth. And the integration into the Chrome browser, into Google Slides, into Forms, allowing that powerful component that you mentioned with audio feedback. Because, you know, after a while, yeah, there's comment banks, but I know I can speak for Dan here, is we get tired of typing, or you feel like you're redundant in what you say when you're offering feedback to students, and you're typing it and typing it and typing it, or you're just inserting it. And it's much more personalized when you're able to actually input a voice comment into anything, a little blurb in a writing or a slide deck that the student is doing, something on the form. That instantaneous availability to give feedback really promotes more learning and engagement between the teacher and student relationship at that point.
And I would just like to build upon that. Like, what Mote really harnesses on with the audio feedback, and it shows it creates a human connection between the teachers and students, because so much gets lost in the written word, your inflection, your tone, and being able to use that voice feedback is just so powerful in the learning environments.
You know, Dan, you're spot on, and this is something we hear again and again, because it's not, of course, the content of what is being shared is important, but as much as anything, it is the affection, it is the sincerity behind that, which is so much easier to convey through voice. And that's really what will motivate students to act upon that feedback, that will keep them motivated to push their own skills and redraft or take on board the feedback and grow. So I think that, and we'll perhaps talk a little while about how technology may solve other problems, but like, we can't get away from the fact that human connection between teacher and student, educator and learner has to be at the heart of so many things going forward.
Oh, totally agree. And I would have to say, we've been trying to sell tickets to the Mote Boat since you guys launched a few years ago, and I know our teachers are really receptive and love the tool. But what we've seen happen, and what is great, is teachers are now seeing the importance of audio when they're engaging with their students. So for students to get in on providing audio responses to teachers, it can really focus, and teachers can see about their metacognition. They can do a lot of reflection. They can really see students' thinking process. So, that Mote feature and the accessibility has been great for both the teacher and the student in the learning environments.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that Mote has been incorporated into kind of more innovative sort of pedagogical approaches. And it's something which I've learned myself the value of over the last few years. I think initially we really focused on that feedback use case and saw the value, but really seeing these incredibly creative applications of using voice in the classroom, of overcoming language barriers, of overcoming accessibility barriers, is really inspiring for us as a team.
Will, one thing I wanted to mention is, and really hit home, was the human connection, because like you said, you guys launched in March of 2020, and that's pretty much where, the pandemic really rocked the educational world. The human connection was something that I think adults, children alike really struggled with through that first, the first year and everything, because virtual learning, we know, was, it had its challenges itself. But Mote being released, it was just like an aha moment that, wow, I can still connect with my students. They can still hear my voice. I don't have to worry about the video thing right now, but they can still connect and hear me and get feedback from me like they're sitting next to me in class if I was in a small one-to-one conference. It really, that human connection and the ability that Mote was able to provide through virtual learning and all the teaching that went on for those 18 months to 2 years really was powerful. And it's like, I mean, when when the pandemic came about and school started to shut down across the world, and you guys had just launched, like, what was going on? Like, if I could be a fly on the wall in the Mote corporate offices, like, what was your guys' thought process?
The Mote corporate offices were, myself and my co-founder working in our own separate houses,
right?
Communicating. So, we were a very small team at the time, and we were working very, very hard just to understand how Mote was helping, and then make sure that we could, build, frankly, the infrastructure to support the growth that we were seeing. And we were sort of, doubling, tripling, quadrupling in usage, every week. And it was, very exhilarating. I think, since you talked about the pandemic, I think the importance of human connection obviously hasn't gone away post-pandemic, obviously. Now, some teachers spend, if you're an elementary teacher and you've got your students with you every lesson of the school week, then perhaps you feel like you've had enough human connection with your students through the week. But and you don't want any more. But for teachers in high school or middle school or higher education, where maybe they only get a couple of hours a week in person with their students, finding ways to continue the conversation, to connect on a one-to-one basis between classes, and to be able to quickly respond to student questions, to interact and sort of build that relationship outside of class is super important. And I just wish that teachers had, room in their schedules, in their calendars to do that more, right? Because that is so important.
Agreed.
And I think what you've created allows for more teachers to create that time in their busy schedule. I would just have to say, like, kudos to you for your integrations and how you've weaved Mote in and out of various platforms to provide different opportunities for teachers. I mean, the hyper motes, being able to comment with a mote.
The loops,
everything there, just really, no matter where you're working with a student, you can leave that audio feedback. I can't imagine. That must have been quite a challenge for you guys, for an undertaking for you guys to work out all those integrations.
It is. And, one of the things that we have to do is constantly make sure that we adjust. So sometimes Google will launch upgrades to their product, which is brilliant and something they should do. But often those changes will affect the way that Mote works. And we will very quickly have to see what's changed and make sure that we can then ship an update to our products to make sure they still work or work even better. So, that's part and parcel of doing what we've done. I still believe that integration that we've enabled is hugely valuable and well worth the effort.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Will, quick question. Well, it's not really a quick question. So, as we talk about Mote, how is Mote evolving? We know that it's integrating more and more. I love the fact that you can see when students have, or we use it with our colleagues as well, have listened to your feedback, and then how that helps them grow professionally or for students in their educational careers. We know Mote is evolving itself, right? And what is the next step for Mote itself as we start to move into 2023?
Yeah, so in terms of the Mote product that everyone knows and loves, we don't sit still. Last year and into 2023, we've been continuing to ship improvements. We launched most recently a web recorder because we kept hearing examples of teachers saying, look, my students don't have the Mote Chrome extension on their machines or on their mobile phones, but I really need them to use Mote in this way or that way. And so we've added a web recorder. It has built-in transcription, which is quite unusual and unique, I think.
That's awesome.
And we've seen a really nice level of engagement with that. We launched Mote Loops, I think you mentioned earlier, which is part of our. It was inspired by some excellent conversations and interactions we have with teachers who were telling us how important it is for them and their feedback practice to know that students are engaging with the feedback, because there's nothing worse than investing 3 hours of your Sunday evening in giving feedback but not knowing whether that feedback has been listened to or read or engaged with or anything has happened. And And, I'm not sure we've been able to fully solve that problem. But I think that what we wanted to do is at least make sure that teachers understand what's working and hopefully nudge students to engage with that and to take action. So those have been things that we've been doing. But more broadly, we have been, getting excited about some of the newer technological developments out there and kicking around a few new ideas for products that we're pretty excited to be launching in the coming weeks and months.
Right, so that kind of just leads me right into my next question. You set it up and teed it up for me perfectly, Will.
Exactly. It's almost, I just kept thinking, like, Mote launched right in March 2020, right when a time when that human connection was needed most. And it seems like you are launching a new feature right when a new thing in technology is rearing its head and making quite an impact on the teaching space. So can we talk about Conker?
Yeah, explain to the audience what it is and how it helps education. And when we say Conker, okay, everybody's got to understand it's Conker. So it's still in beta, but Will, you're the CEO, you're the founder. You tell them when they're going to be able to really get access to this in the educational world.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, guys. I mean, so Conker is a new brand, is a new platform we're launching. The URL is conker.ai. And we began work on this 3 or 4 months ago because, like so many other people, we were just very excited by the potential of the so large language models or generative AI, whether that be generating imagery with DALL-E 2, or it would be using these large language models to create really incredible responses to prompts and questions. And we feel like this space is evolving so quickly. We just said we have to explore this. We have to start using this ourselves and see what can we build, what problems are there that we know teachers have that we think we can help with. And so, we started work on Conker only in November, actually, and quickly built a first version, which we shared, I think, with you guys in December. And obviously, this space is moving so fast; it's been wild, and we've had some really great feedback on our beta version, which is quite narrowly focused on the problem of generating quizzes. So we did quite a bit of work talking to our user base about how they approach formative assessment, and we felt that actually there was a need to help educators with just a quick and easy way to create simple formative assessments, whether that be based on a set text. So, hey, I want students to read something and then demonstrate understanding by answering a set of questions, or it be very quickly generating fill in the blank exercises or quizzes or reading comprehension exercises. So that whole space we think is really interesting. And I think even since we began work on Conker, we just feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many incredibly inspiring ways that educators are using tools like ChatGPT right now that we are just so inspired to innovate in this space. And I think that's that's for me is going to just be probably front and center for what 2023 looks like.
I can't even tell you how excited I am with just to harness the power of the tool with Conker, man. We'll talk. I know Dan's got a question about ChatGPT and AI with Mote and Conker, but I don't think, first off, how rapidly you put this product out. Let's say, like you say, you're in November, and then we got kind of like beta testing, and we got to see it in December, and then now. So
and you say about keeping ahead in the tip of the iceberg. I didn't know you were just first putting this together in November, but how this is updated over the last few weeks from where I first looked at Conker to where it is now is just incredible. So I can't wait to see how you grow this product going in the future.
And I love the marketing because I love getting, get conquering. All right. I just absolutely love that phrase. And I think I do. I just love the whole thing because the formative assessment is something that I feel like can go pushed to the back burner for many teachers due to lack of time, right? If a lesson takes longer to kind of get through to check for understanding, and then they got to do some kind of formative assessment, right? Conker, it's very simple to use, right? And that's the big thing. And then you can copy to Google Forms. I mean, it's just amazing how quickly you have evolved Conker, from the ground up to where it is currently. And then I know it's going to be released, in a few weeks. This is such a powerful tool, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see how it evolves over the next few months, because everything is going at light speed now, like you just said. And with ChatGPT coming out and everything, and we know it's incredible, but it's like I think you sent an email to us where you said it's fun, it's incredible, but ChatGPT is not designed around solving educators' needs. Education is not at the forefront of the ChatGPT mindset, but you guys at Mote and Conker are, and you're using that powerful tool of AI and embedding it within Conker is just phenomenal.
Well, that's incredibly kind of you. Yeah, we humbly are trying to do that. I think just to explain, I mean, ChatGPT is this extraordinary product, and it's so exciting to see how it has been engaged and to see how the debate and discussion has moved so quickly from, oh my goodness, we've got to make sure students don't use it, to teachers saying, no, how can I bring it into the classroom and help students use it so that they can learn more rapidly, so that they can learn how to use it responsibly, so that they can build this into their toolkit? Because guess what? When they, join the workforce, this is going to be like, just a basic expectation of their, of their toolkit, right? Like, and I think it was, I don't want to say, but it was an education influencer who said recently, I think Holly, said something like, it's like, this is the Commodore 64 version of AI, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the very first chapter, and I think this is so true. So I think I'm excited to see and frankly learn from how educators are applying ChatGPT. And I think what we know is that to make this a useful, a powerful pedagogical tool, right, and a productivity tool, it's going to need more thoughtful design. It's going to need, safeguards. It's going to need, effective design to solve for the needs of teachers, to solve for the needs of students, and for administrators in schools and districts. So we are very much engaged in that, but step one is launching a version of Conker in the next couple of weeks, but seeing it very much as the first step on the journey.
Yeah, I mean, this emergence of the AI, especially with ChatGPT taking the forefront. I mean, there were things before coming out, but this is really taken over a lot of things. In at least for me, I walk in two different worlds. I'm here as a tech integration specialist. I'm a teacher working, in the K-12, but I'm also in the higher ed realm, where I teach as well. And looking at the way that the two different areas are approaching it, the higher ed was very anti, I should say, the AI, and looking for ways that they could prevent it or stop it. But in the K-12, I'm seeing a more of a, like, all right, this is what it is, and how are we going to evolve our instruction to look at the world that our students are in and are going to be in. So, see, you guys are thinking the same way. So how do you think the emergence of AI is going to impact education in general?
Look, it's a big question, and I wouldn't be foolish enough to say I have all the answers. I think, what we have done is have laid out a set of assumptions. And I think for us, we think first off that there will be recognition and embracing of using technology, GPT technology or generative AI technology within higher education and K-12 education within a matter of years, if not months. I think, I don't know, you guys know this part of history better than I do, but there's this great story about how in the 1950s the mathematics syllabus in the US evolved and expanded dramatically because algebra was seen and calculus was seen as so important for rocket development, right? It was seen as an issue of national security. Now, I feel that we are on the cusp of something, this feels to me of a technology of a similar magnitude of importance to, whether you call it nuclear or the age of, modernity after the Second World War. I feel like we are on the cusp of something really important. And at a minimum, this is as important as the availability of kind of portable devices like iPads and Chromebooks that sort of began to emerge about a decade ago. So I feel like there's just going to have to be an embrace, and it won't be evenly distributed. There will be schools and districts and countries that embrace this technology more quickly, and there will be others who embrace it more slowly. There will be subject areas that embrace it more quickly. But I think that we have to prepare for a world in which this is just integrated into the way that teaching happens. And so I guess that's my pretty optimistic and positive outlook for this. I do think obviously there are going to be safeguards needed. Clearly, this doesn't invent plagiarism. It just creates a new form of powerful plagiarism, right. And clearly there will be solutions needed for that. And I think, and I hope that it will lead to innovation in assessment, and give an opportunity to really rethink what are the skills that we're looking to see demonstrated by students for different ages and development stages. But these are big questions. This is just how we're thinking about it right now.
I fully agree in your optimism. I look at it as, somewhat of a disruptor of to a degree where we really need to, as teachers, as educators, just, we need to really reflect on what we expect for our students and how we are going to assess them. I see this really leading to a lot more authentic products being produced by students, more project-based learning, more performance assessments, more opportunities for students to be collaborative, to harness different creativity, and then using the traditional methods and the AI to bring that together for really for learning experiences that can reach all learners, and tools that you guys are coming out with Conker, but also with Mote as well, can really make that performance-based assessment and that dynamic classroom even more attainable, because you have so many tools integrated into one area that makes that human connection over a digital space, which is something that's really valuable.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as you said, the human connection still has to be core, right? I think this is about empowering teachers and to sort of spend more time on the things that matter for students. And I mean, just while we're on, I mean, some of the examples I've seen that I think are so instructive and exciting are where teachers have already said, hey, for example, I generated 3 sample essays by prompting ChatGPT. I printed them out and I gave them to students, and I said, hey, I want you to critique these essays and I want you to make them better, or I want you to create your own version, like a remix of this output. And for me, those are the kinds of applications that feel really fresh and innovative, right? Like, and then potentially putting something even more powerful in the hands of students. So anyway, I think I'm just, buckle up. I think it's going to be very exciting to see how this space evolves. I mean, we're in a bit of a hype cycle right now. I suspect it will calm down and quieten down a little bit. But I think we will start to see the emergence of some really interesting novel products over the next 6 months to a year. So yeah, I'm super excited about all of this.
Oh, us too. And I'm super excited to see how you guys evolve with this in the next few months coming up, because what you put together so far is fascinating. So I'm ready to hold on and enjoy the ride on the Mote boat.
Well, a couple thoughts came to mind as you were speaking. So I know a big thing, I think, is when ChatGPT came out, the big thing that I saw was people started to hit the panic button right away. I mean, the socials, everything was about it, saying, oh my gosh, this is going to ruin research. This is going to ruin the paper. This is going, there's going to be no authentic writing, all of that. Dan and I said it over and over again. And in education, you have to evolve. Just like Conker has evolved so quickly since you guys started working on it and launching it. When the graphing calculator came out, you referenced the 1950s and the algebra and everything. We have to zig when others zag, so to speak. And the speed that things are changing and just intensifying in a good way is powerful for education, for just a real world application. And we have to jump on board. If you don't jump on board with anything, I mean, even you as being the CEO, if you were like, we're not going to put AI into any of our products, or we're not going to, use all this, we're not going to jump on this, I don't think it's going to be the next big thing, you're going to be left behind, unfortunately. So as teachers, let the students go. Learn from them just as much as you're teaching them. And that's that human connection that you referenced that's on point. And as we move forward, we can't worry about, well, that's always the way we've done it. I think the pandemic has put that in the past. What we've done in the past, you have to evolve with it just as much as Mote has evolved since its inception, and now Conker is. And like you said, it's going to be moving, and buckle up and get ready for the ride.
I couldn't put it better. This has been really fun, guys. I really appreciate the support. And, like I say, I'll keep you very much posted, and perhaps we can come back in a few months' time and talk about where AI has moved to by then, because I'm sure it will be. It won't be the same as where it is today. So this has been really fun.
Absolutely. We appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Final question, Will, is the best thing for them to find you online is just go to conker.ai, right, and Mote, and they can find it in Chrome Extension Store and the web-based tool, the web recorder, everything you mentioned. Just go to the website. That's the best way to kind of learn, and they can provide feedback on the tool, because I'm sure you guys want to know all the feedback with everything.
Yeah, exactly. Mote.com and conker.ai. And at the moment, there's a bit of a wait list for conker.ai, but we will be rolling it out and making it fully available in the coming week.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know there's an audience. I gave away all my free invites.
All my links are gone.
They're gone. And teachers are like, can I get a link? I'm like, I don't have any more.
Yeah, it's great. So
it's great.
Will, thank you again. Hopefully
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
be seeing you soon or at some point at a conference, or we'll catch up with John Neal again. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing how Mote and Conker evolve and change the education space in the future.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a great day.
What a fantastic interview we had just talking with Will. So insightful, Dan.
It is, and I'm really excited to see where this new tool evolves into.
That we're going to conquer it. As always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please reach out. We do appreciate all the support that you provide to us all. If you need a sticker, hit up the sticker request in the show notes. Of course, tech hard, work smart, live an adventure.
Find Andrew on all socials at @ANicolaTech and Dan at WCSD Tech DR.